Hey everybody, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles. Now the reason why I've chosen to teach this is because it is a simple 4-chord wonder. That means it's the exact same 4 chords in the same order the entire time, and they're all really simple chords. The one challenge in this one is going to be with the strumming pattern, but even then, as long as you take it slowly, you break it down, you will get there. If along the way you find that you need any extra help, I have a bunch of resources. There's my free ebook, my complete beginner's course. There's a chart for this on my Patreon. I'll put links to all that down below. But anyways, let's just get started with the chord shapes. First, we're going to have a D minor chord. And from there, we go to A minor. And a little trick when you're going from D minor to A minor is pay attention to these two fingers, to my index and my middle finger. I just move them both one string over, and then I finish the A minor shape. So those two fingers can stay like that when you're switching. D minor, A minor. From A minor, we switch to C, and this is just one finger. We take our ring finger and we put it on the 3rd fret of the A string. And then finally, we have a G chord. And for that one, there aren't really any common fingers between C and G, so you might have to practice that one a little bit more. And from that G shape, we go to D minor. And you can pivot off your ring finger like that. But I've always liked playing D minor with my pinky. I don't know why, it's just me. But you're totally welcome to do it this way if you want a little trick to help you switch. So keep those little tricks in mind when you're switching from D minor to A minor, to have those two fingers keep their form. A minor, just one finger. And then C to G, you just keep working on it. And if you're having a lot of trouble with it, try placing your fingers in a certain order. So from the C chord, maybe we'll get these two fingers down first. And just focus on that, just going C to those two fingers only. And then once you're comfortable with that, you just have to add those other two fingers. So you just think, I'm on my C chord, and then I go 1, 2, and that's my G chord. That way you're still developing muscle memory. You're doing things in a consistent way. And if you need more help with that, my complete beginner's course breaks it all down. We start with the simplest shapes that literally anybody could do on guitar, and we always focus on switching just between 2 chord shapes. That way you can get the whole picture and not just be chasing chord shapes all the time, but actually use them for something and work on rhythm and work on all that other stuff. Regardless of whether you check out my course or not, I recommend you do stick with 2 chords at a time if you're having trouble. But if you are, once you're good with this stuff, we can move on and practice our switching using downstrokes only, just to make sure we can stick to the beat. Starting off on D minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. All right, so now that we've taken care of the chord shapes, let's take a look at that strumming pattern. It goes like this. I'll do it a lot slower. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that is a bit of a longer strumming pattern, and there's a couple extra things in there. There's some muted strokes. So let's take a good look at this one. We're going to break it down into a few pieces. First, so I'm going down, up, and then a little smack. And for that smack, my main focus is to get my hand down on the strings to stop them, and then have my pick go through the strings. And I recommend just trying that a whole bunch. Open strings, that way you know if it's working. You know, if it doesn't work, you'll hear some strings ring out. But the whole point is that this part of your hand hits the strings first, and then that. It doesn't even matter what the pick does, but even if you just did that, it's totally fine. And rhythmically, we're going 1 and 2 and smack. So there's an upstroke on the and after 2. Let's try counting it out. 1 and 2 and smack and 4. 1 and 2 and smack and 4. 1 and 2 and smack. So the next part of the strumming pattern has the same kind of like skeleton. There's just a couple more upstrokes in it. We're gonna go down, up, smack, up. Down, up, smack, up. And we could even break this part down again. There's down, up, miss, up, and then smack, up. And that's another way you could think about it. Down, miss, smack. Those are on the beats, and then they're all followed by upstrokes. Down, up, miss, up, smack, up. Anyways, let's recap everything so far. Down, up, smack, down, up, miss, up, down, up, 3, 4. Down, up, smack, down, up, miss, up, up. And finally, we have miss, up, down, up at the very end of this pattern. Miss, up, down, up, 3, 4. Miss, up, down, up, 3, 4. So practice each of those parts to get your muscle memory going. And now, as far as putting it together, I think rather than trying to put it all together, let's put it into 2 parts now. So we'll do the first half, 1 and 2 and smack, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, up, smack, down, up. One more time, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, up, smack, down, up. Now the second half starts off with a miss on beat 1. So we're going miss, up, smack, up, miss, up, down, up. This is definitely the trickier half of this one. So let's just go through it a few times. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And miss, up, smack, up, miss, up, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Miss, up, smack, up, miss, up, down, up. And you can try putting it all together now, but I recommend playing each of those halves a whole bunch of times till you can get them a lot quicker and a lot smoother, till you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first half, and then the second half. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then once you can do that, once you have the muscle memory to do each half of it at a pretty good tempo, then we can try putting it all together. 1, 2, a little bit slower. I find with a pattern like this, it sounds like nothing when it's slow, but once you speed it up, it starts to sound like it, So stick with it, try it really slow. Even if it doesn't sound like anything, keep counting, and that way you'll be sure that you're doing the right strokes in the right order and everything's working out. So now that we have our chord shapes, we got our strumming pattern, let's practice putting them together. We're just gonna go through our progression with our pattern a few times, just like we would on the recording. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, so that's the majority of the tune, and if you can put that strumming pattern together with those chord shapes, you're totally ready to play along with the song. Now, as you do that, you may notice there's a couple spots where the rhythm kind of changes, and it doesn't get harder, it gets a little bit simpler. The first thing is during the chorus. At the very end of the chorus, when you sing Watermelon Sugar a whole bunch of times, on the G chord, the very last G chord of the entire chorus, play nothing. So that it goes like this. So we were just silent during that G chord. And that's called a stop because you're literally stopping playing. And that happens at the end of each chorus on that final G chord. The last thing is about 2/3 of the way through a song, there's a breakdown. And that's where the rhythm kind of stops and we just strum on beat 1 of each chord. So we just go 2, 3, 4, strum, 2, 3, 4. Strum. And at first you can count out loud. And once you're comfortable with it, you count in your head. And I really want you to take the time with those little musical things because the rest of this song is just the same chord progression and the same strumming the whole time. So it's a good opportunity to learn to do stops where you just stop playing but you keep your rhythm going. So you don't, when you come back in with the strumming pattern, everything is still nice and smooth, right? And the breakdown, where you're just strumming and counting 1, 2, 3, 4, a great opportunity to work on that kind of stuff. Anyways, I hope you have a fun time practicing this one. If you need any extra help, don't forget I have my free ebook, my complete beginners course, a bunch of other resources. I'll put links to all that stuff down below. And have a fun time practicing. I'll see you soon.